Hey baddies, welcome to Bitch is a Bad Word. I'm Lindsay. I'm one mom with 4 kids and 0 fancy letters behind my name. I bring on all of the experts to help us unpack our experiences of domestic abuse and toxic relationships together. Today, I am sitting down with 4 baddies, and 2 of them are still teenagers. I have the absolute honor of getting to know the 3 founders behind Burd Beauty. It's a shampoo that will not only make your hair look amazing, but could actually save a life. They are joined by the founder of Shear Haven, who is a stylist and activist who understands that sometimes the person that you spend the most time with outside of your actual circle could be your hairdresser, your stylist, your barber, the woman who just gets it done. And they may be the first person to see the signs of domestic abuse. And she is absolutely making sure that these professionals are trained to see the signs. I absolutely loved this conversation. They have turned their pain into purpose and their purpose into power. And they are empowering women all over the beauty industry. So let's get into it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this is a super special segment because I've never done this many people at one time. So I'm in my element of, I just like thinking on your feet. Like I say bad words, fucking around and finding out. We're about to do this. So I love this segment and I love what we're about to talk about. So all of you guys come from this really interesting background. We have female founders, entrepreneurs, and survivors all mixing into one big turning your pain into purpose moment. And there is like nothing more inspiring to me than meeting women like you guys. So I want
And
to
teenagers too.
and
I want
teenagers.
teenagers. That's right. Next generation.
The next gen, which is huge. That's going to be a huge part of what we talk about today because I am noticing a shift in the world where maybe even just a year ago, I will even say, like, be safe to say that talking about domestic abuse, domestic violence was like, you could like suck the air out of a room if you mentioned that topic. So my goal has been, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to get loud. I'm going to talk for the besties in the back. I'm going to speak for the women who were silenced and they can't say something yet. I love the idea that this next generation who are already loud and proud and sort of like, they have that, like, I don't give a F energy anyway. You're like, we're talking about it. We're making a movement. So how did this begin?
Yeah. Well, basically, myself, a survivor myself and an advocate as a teen back a long time ago in the 90s when I was in high school. I helped write the first teen dating violence curriculum in Chicago. And since then, I've gone on into CPG and, I'm a leader in the wellness space and food space as CEO of Lifeway Foods. But I know that peer-to-peer conversations are so important. And the conversations that we have with our hairdressers are so important. We might feel more closer to them than our family members, friends, etc., teachers, coaches. And so this interesting intersection where I was watching my own daughter is really obsessed to an encyclopedia level about beauty products. They are the typical Sephora teen. And we just, it was sort of like this aha moment. Like, what if we brought to market a beauty product with a message, with a mission, with a purpose to have those conversations. And so that's somewhat how the idea came to be. But I think we all came from it at different places. That's where, it came for me to, so as their mom, to like guide both Leah and Misha into being empowered to have those conversations with that next gen. And they have so many cool tools at their disposal today, from social media to different platforms and whatnot. But Misha, what about you? what do you, I think you were, who wants to go? Who wants to add to that?
I feel like I have. Okay.
Leah has something.
For me personally, I feel like I saw like unhealthy relationships among like my peers, kind of friends. And then also just on social media, I feel like I have seen a lot of different influencers talk about a lot of different things. And like you said, like this was a topic that kind of sucked the air out of the room. And so I feel like I didn't see celebrities talking about this. I feel like I saw them talking about everything else actually. And just like kind of, I don't want to say like irresponsibility, but I feel like I saw just things that opportunities that weren't taken to talk about something like this. And then like my mom said, she has a background kind of dealing with this and more like advocacy projects. And so she knew about the Salon Act in Illinois and Tennessee, which is that like salon professionals, beauty professionals have to be trained in spotting domestic violence, which is what Susanne does. And
She founded
yes,
amazing
exactly.
landmark laws.
Yes.
They're so inspired by Susanne.
And
Cool.
that kind of inspired the intersection between beauty, care, something that like teens could be excited about, especially like I feel like that's just something that excites us, like a new product. And like you said, having it be backed with purpose made it that much more important for us.
That's
Yeah,
so
and
cool
guys,
because that's like that's the piece that like when you talk about the salon awareness, I one time had been in I was abused the night before. Let's just say it straight. I was abused by my ex the night before I had a hair appointment and he had ripped me out of the car by my hair and on the way out of the car I had like grazed the back of my head so the back of my skull was like bleeding. And so the next day, which was this is what's so crazy. I went to the appointment because she has this 24-hour cancellation policy. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to have to like screw her and I don't have to pay for it. Maybe I can just go. So we go, but I'm getting like my roots done. And she's like, hey girl, what's up with the back of your head? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I like, whatever, fell into the door. I just lied as we do and we cover. And she's like, I can't do your hair. I mean, I can't put like product on you have an open wound on the back. And I said, how bad is it? So she shows me on like, like the back mirror or whatever. And it's massive. And at that point, my heart just sinks. I'm so mortified. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, she thinks I have this life that I've created or crafted for her every time I go and get my hair done because we lived it. We were affluent. We were always traveling on a private jet. I'm like, oh, we were just in Mexico. I'm getting my hair done for this. So I'm like, this doesn't track. It doesn't seem like it tracks. But I went back to this woman later. After like she wasn't my hairdresser anymore, but I spoke to her and she does some advocacy work. And I told her and she's like, girl, I knew. I just didn't know what to say. She's like, she's like, I always saw it. Like, and I saw like and there was so many times because I'd been seeing her for years. So I love the idea that, we tell our hairdressers about like the sex we were having with the guy the night before or like all the things. And then we're like, but we can't, we're afraid. No, I think that they would be like the first call to like, or action. So I love this in so many ways. So good job. I mean, way
Thank
to
you.
just spot it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think that's exactly why Susanne worked so passionately and fiercely for this law, for
Mhm.
that very point. Susanne, why don't you share a little bit more and then
Yes, I'd love to know. I didn't even, until I reached out to Julie, I didn't know, or I saw the connection on Instagram and then was like, oh, wait, what is this Shear Haven? I had no idea. So please let's learn all about this.
Well, how inspiring are these girls? There's just no words to have that sort of vision and mission and drive at your age is incredible. And clearly you didn't fall far from the tree with your, but yes, with my personal experience, I'm also a survivor and I've been in the beauty industry for over 30 years. And so there's this intersection of my life experience and my profession that uh, was kind of brought together in 2017. I actually heard about a law that was passed in Illinois that required domestic violence education for my industry. And it just fully stopped me in my tracks because as a survivor, I was in an abusive relationship when my son was, well, it was the father of my son. He was my husband, um, my son's dad, and he was my coworker. And so we were just as intertwined as you physically could be. And on the other side of that relationship, which I can go into some of what it took for me to get out of it. But in my personal experience, it was education about domestic violence that had truly saved my life. I was in a generation that didn't know about non-physical signs. I didn't know about coercive control. I didn't know about emotional, financial, verbal abuse. I knew about the bruises. That was basically the extent of my my understanding. And it was someone that I trusted that was really close to me that stopped me and said, this is not just abuse. I mean, just a bad relationship. This is an abusive relationship. And that was the game changer. That's what eventually caused me to safety plan and take steps that I was able to leave this relationship with the understanding that this was something outside of the norm. This was something that I needed to take seriously in a different way. So when I heard about this, I ended up knowing that our relationship with our clients is so incredibly close that it really might be that game changer in someone's life. I had had those conversations behind the chair that I knew in hindsight were absolutely abusive relationships, and I had not recognized it. I had dropped the ball. And so knowing that that is something that could truly make a difference in my own community, I approached the YWCA here in Nashville and said, can we do this? And they said, yes, we've been looking for a you. We've been looking for the person that could actually be the salon representative to help us get into this industry. And we started doing in-person trainings and created a curriculum that started reaching people here locally in Nashville, one salon at a time. And that was kind of the beginnings of it. There's a lot more to it that has now led to legislation and expansion in ways that I could have never dreamed.
Hey, baddie, we are building the biggest, baddest bestie gang, and it's popping off on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. We have free tiers, paid tiers. We even shed some real tiers. The paid for tiers get you ad-free listening, BTS, merch drops, merch discounts, all the things. But the free tier is absolute money too. We also have a private Discord server where you can feel safe to share your story and meet a new bestie because we vet every single member. That's right. You need to show your ID to get up in this club. Visit patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. I can't wait to hang out with you there. Someone that's listening right now, you were going through it. You were recognizing it in others, and it was still really hard to call it out. It was still really hard to ask somebody if they need help. Or, we're taught so often, and maybe not this next, like this new gen, which is I'm so excited for, is that like, it's not your business. You just, you stay out of their relationship. You stay, you keep your side of the street clean, and we don't get into their business. We don't get into their marriage. And oftentimes we are waiting for somebody to say, I need help. But like you said, and I felt like you don't even recognize what you're in oftentimes. Yeah. And you don't know. And I mean, I've said this 1,000 times on my show. I was a rich woman driving a Range Rover with a Cartier as if I could drive that to a shelter with my 4 kids and my designer dog. Like it didn't track. It didn't mean that I didn't need the help. It didn't mean that, I was just like, but I'm taking a spot that somebody else needs. But I really needed that spot because the money that I thought I had and the life that I thought I had gone the second they realized I was gone. You know, the financial control and financial abuse was real. And it was all like, I didn't know. And so being able to be trained, if like we've got mandated reporters on all other fronts, somebody that's sitting right there that can say, hey, are you good? Here we recognize the signs and here's what the resources are.
Yes, and finding those unique relationships in every community that have the consistency that our industry has is pretty hard to find. You know, that you, number one, have the consistency. I know that doctors and nurses are trained, but you see your doctor, what, maybe once a year?
Right.
And it's a very vulnerable situation. It's not comfortable. You're in there for a reason. They're checking you out. They are drawing blood. They're, you know, whatever they're doing, they're asking really personal health questions. You don't have the relationship that you have with your stylist. You just don't.
That is so true. I love that. I didn't even consider that perspective. Like it's just,
And we have
it's more
time. You know, think of how much time you spend behind the chair or in the chair that
yeah.
I spend behind the chair. But as our clients, you know, as they sit in the chair for hours a month.
Mhm.
And some of my clients I've seen hours a month for 30 years. And so you think about just how many occasions there are to meet someone in that place with just not to fix it, but just to listen effectively and believe someone if they open up that conversation, or even hold a little bit of a mirror to someone if they start sharing things that you know are red flags. But it does take that education. It's not that we haven't been inserting ourselves in that way since the beginning of time, because we have. We care about our clients so deeply, but we often have been giving, honestly, bad advice, you know, things that could actually maybe put someone into danger or put the beauty professional in danger if they don't respond in the way that they should.
So that's a really good point, because we say all the time, like, I want you to be safe. If you're listening right now and you're in a dangerous situation, your healing will come second. We want you to get safe, and that's priority. But oftentimes, when you do speak to somebody who has no, you know, abuse is so nuanced, and we know the statistics are pretty staggering. Somebody doesn't have to hit their partner for them to be abusive. And also somebody could have no signs of abuse until the woman says she's leaving. And then that, like, the unalivement becomes extremely high. And people are like, well, I don't understand where this has come from. You don't know what someone's trigger is. So when you say to somebody, oh, you just need to leave, you just need to get out of there, that's not always the best advice. So it's like, you do need a safety plan. You do need somebody who understands, you know, who's trained to help someone leave. So that's amazing. What does the training look like?
Well, so to back up a little bit, as we were doing in-person trainings, we realized that the reception we were getting was so incredible. The conversations that were opening were so incredible that I wanted to reach far more people than we could in that capacity. So we started working on legislation here in Tennessee, which is a bold undertaking because it is a supermajority red state that doesn't love regulation. Like, we're anti-regulation around here. And so to say, okay, let's add the first, continuing education requirement in the state for our industry was kind of hard to fathom, but I found an amazing lawmaker that championed it beautifully, and it was at the beginning of 2020. And feedback that we kept receiving from lawmakers was that they wanted it to be free, online, and quick. And our in-person trainings were hours long. So even just the quick part, we were like, how do we do this? How do we actually condense a 3-hour training or a 2-hour training into even 1 hour? That seemed crazy. The other part of it is it was early 2020. We had no idea how to do this. You know, I think we even reach people online, and then to do it at no cost for free, that didn't seem possible. So this thing called COVID happened, and it ended up being the game changer for this initiative because first of all, it stopped the legislative part in the tracks. Like they weren't doing anything other than COVID relief and all of that. But I ended up connecting with Barbicide, who's in the blue jars on all
Mhm.
stations in every salon around the world. They were the leaders in disinfection uh, information for all of us, how to be sanitary, how to work in close contact with people through a pandemic. And as Governor Lee's Economic Recovery Group salon representative at the time, I was able to help kind of navigate the industry through that part. But through that, ended up connecting with them. And they offered to host our training on their website at no cost. We just had to create it, which we had no money. We had $500 to create a training, which is crazy. We created this curriculum and we gave it to Barbicide. They put it out there. And they overnight, with their followers, were able to reach over 5,000 people, I think, in 3 days
Oh,
with
wow.
violence education. And so it allowed us to basically speed up that process. It also allowed us to check the box for the legislators. And so we now had this tool that we could go to them and say, okay, we've got it.
Okay, so I want to talk about, we've got this amazing legislation happening. We're in salons, we're educating. And how did you connect? And from there, this little birdie told you what to do?
Yeah, basically, that's exactly right. We heard about what Susanne was doing. And at the same time, well, Misha, why don't you talk a little bit about like the teen beauty market and like what your friends, how you guys select products and whatnot, and then how you were inspired.
Well, wait, you said what you were gonna say.
Well, I just did. I said, we were talking about, how you were inspired to why did you like beauty versus something else?
Um, wait,
Well,
so I asked it.
yeah, sure. Basically, Misha and Leah both, are obsessed with beauty products.
Yes.
The global beauty personal care space is a $600 billion industry. 20% of that comes from the United States. $30 billion of beauty products are purchased in the United States. It's a growing segment. Gen Z and Alpha, their generation, is really driving a lot of that, those purchases. Women are the most active beauty care purchasing segment in the market. And young people, especially this demographic of ages 16 to 24, put women at the greatest risk. So there were sort of a lot of things happening, synergies that were happening. Misha I saw her, it's a line item in my household income for beauty products at Sephora, at Ulta. So, she was talking about wanting to launch a beauty, uh, brand specifically for the youth market. And at the same time, we were talking about as a family some of the images and conversations happening in mass media and culture, and
Not happening, actually. The conversation's not happening in mass media with celebrities.
exactly what was
Mhm.
not being said. And it was this perfect like moment where multiple conversations we were having almost about the same time. And then I thought, wait, this is brilliant. Why don't we use a product, a CPG, to build a mission, to build a movement? And that's where Burd came into picture. And
I love
their
it.
last name, the girl's last name is Burdeen. So, and everyone calls them Burd. So that's where the name came from.
Oh, I
And
love
this
it.
idea of giving, let her fly, and it's not just about, yes, abuse and preventing abuse is a big part of our mission. And like, for example, the domestic violence hotline, the National Domestic Violence Hotline phone number and text directions are on every single bottle. What a great platform to reach every single person taking a shower, washing their hair with
Mhm.
shampoo. So that's sort of some of the ideas of how, but even like the color was,
Yep.
there was thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about
I was going to say, like, I feel like it was really important for us that every little detail had meaning. So, like she was saying, our last name is Burd. That's the name of the brand. But then also our logo is a bird that my mom has a tattoo. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yes.
it's a semicolon as well, which is my mom. My mom has a tattoo, and it's kind of just like, because this thing happened to you, you can get through it. Your story does not have to end. And I think that's a really important message.
Mhm.
Like, besides obviously the safety aspect of it, that kind of the healing part of it. And then also, like she was saying, there's helplines on the back, there's information on the back. Our website is full of it. It directs you to Shear Haven for stylists who are interested in getting certified.
We are an official partner with the hotline here at Bitch is a Bad Word. And so everything that they're doing and their message that they, the calls that they answer, I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to go to Austin and listen in to calls. I was, the only other people who were able to have ever done that, by the way, I've not said this publicly, was the editor of New York Times, Joe Biden, and then myself. And I was like, okay, wait, hold on. Am I doing something cool? Like, am I doing something different? And so what they sat down later and said, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and there's not a show like yours that's out there spreading the message the way you're spreading it, sharing your stories and the vulnerability, but then like making it. And she said the word, like, you're making it cool. And not cool that domestic violence is cool, but that it's cool to talk about it, that it's cool to say, hey, like, you've got a bestie, you've got a friend who you know is in a toxic relationship, or you feel that they are, and you want to be able to be that lifeline to them or that friend and say, it's cool to talk about it. I'm good. Whatever you tell me, I can handle. We're going to get you safe. So you being able to be in any kind of alignment with the hotline is very cool, because that is they answer 3,000 calls a day.
Yeah, I think, of course, it is such a complex issue. Of course, I don't think it's fair to like think that any one of us could solve, we're not professional therapists. While we are advocates and we know a lot about the issue from many decades between both Susanne and I, and even the girls learning a lot about the issues, it is important to direct somebody who is experiencing this to a professional, because it is so much to take on.
Right.
And a hotline is just a step. It's one step. It's not going to solve a massive issue. It's a direction to take you to the next direction. And it's one place to reach out to have a support and some, just tools to have at your toolbox. But of course, these kinds of issues are so complex and take a while to unpack, and to even just have the vocabulary to have the conversation, which I think that's something that the girls are really excited about, creating those peer-to-peer conversations, creating content, TikTok videos, Instagram videos, and making it really a cool conversation to be empowered, to talk about what informed consent looks like, to talk about what good, green flags versus red flags in a relationship look like, to, some of these issues, as we know, being older, that at first it starts out very innocent, and that circle of violence, the circle of control, kind of exponentially, it gets like more extreme, and some things like you don't even notice. And to your point, financial, affluence, education does not discriminate in abuse and these kinds of scenarios. Like, the culture of violence is an epidemic, and 1 in 3 women are at risk for being murdered by an intimate partner. 1 in 4 women will experience abuse. And the red zone for young people is the first 6 weeks of college. The first 6 weeks of college is a big kind of like a red zone where the highest amount of abuse takes place the first 6 weeks of student life on any college campus. So kind of these are just some of those important conversations. But yeah.
Well, and you're already like, you're bridging a gap by just having the information on the back of your bottle. That's access to somebody that's in their shower. That's an intimate place, like where they're thinking, and they're like, or maybe they're washing up from a really bad incident, and then that is an amazing resource that you're putting it like literally in their hand.
Yeah. And the response has been so phenomenal from the industry. We've been featured on CPG Newswire and Express Checkout and Beauty Matter Official, really talking about how, this next generation, they're looking to support products with purpose and with a mission. There's a zillion kinds of hair products. This is a great hair product. Misha can maybe talk about how she looked to formulate some of the ingredients, but we really want to bring this mission to as many people and, help shine a light on Suzanne's legislation and all of her hard work and scale those laws to go beyond just Illinois and Tennessee and Arkansas. But I think, getting these laws to California, Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, where glam squads and, beauty is an industry in and of itself, could be really, really powerful.
Oh, absolutely. If you get it, like getting it into the hands of these people that, again, they're like frontline. They're there. They are seeing you. They're touching you. They know when you feel off. They know when they're like almost intuitive. Like and hairdressers see so many people, and then they see you, like you said, Suzanne, they see you so many hours a year that you're like, that something's off. So being able to feel comfortable to say, hey, listen, let me help you.
Exactly. Just knowing the power of the legislation too is that it reaches people that don't realize they need the education. In Tennessee, our law covers every licensed cosmetologist, barber, esthetician, nail tech, natural hair braider, and everyone in school for all of those industries. And when I first, started working on the legislation, knowing that we would be reaching this many people that have the potential to help was exciting. But as feedback has come in, as we start collecting all of these incredible testimonials on our website, we know that we're reaching people potentially with preventative measures. Like it might be the person who's taking the training themselves that's actually dating someone that they have that spidey sense about their own relationship. And I also have 2 kiddos, and my dream is to be able to really shape and start shifting that stigma and that conversation like these girls are doing for that generation. Knowing
so
that,
girls, I want to ask you this question about, when you're saying you're not you're not hearing these conversations with celebrities and what's interesting is we hear it after it's all been said and done, right? We're hearing this like with Denise Richards right now. I mean, it's like, hello, did we not see the million red flags he was throwing out and just like how he was, and it only takes us watching on TMZ a photograph of her having a black eye that we're like, oh, okay, wait, now let's talk about it or let's make it approachable. So I'd love to hear like that side of your perspective of like how do you break down the stigma and get loud?
Well, I mean, I kind of what you were saying about like celebrities, what actually really like sparked this idea, I feel like, was I read the book It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I watched the movie with Blake Lively, and she was a huge part of the like direction team. She wasn't just like an actress hired. She really had a lot of freedom on this movie. And after she launched a hair care company, like Hairspray or something like that. And there was no talk about the movie. Her PR was honestly really bad. And I feel like she was trying to make it kind of like the Barbie movie. She's like, wear your florals to see It Ends With Us, like wear your pink to see Barbie. And
it didn't land well.
Yeah.
No, it didn't
So
land.
bad.
It was,
And
I was the same way. I was like, what is happening here right now?
I was watching interviews and it was like, well, what would you do if a fan reached out with concerns of like being in a relationship that they thought was abusive? And she was like making jokes about it and just never the right response ever. Never a good response or help full, I guess. And I feel like that was such an opportunity. Like there were so many people who were excited to see the movie, and that's so many eyes and brains that she could have helped. It was just like insane to me. So that really was shocking for us. I feel like that's what made me realize kind of what you're saying, like how people will bite their tongue at something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, Julie, it was around that time that you reached out to me and started the conversation about what we were doing and what you were doing, and this incredible opportunity to kind of merge our missions together in a really powerful way. And yeah, it was a missed opportunity, but an amazing opportunity for us to connect. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, for sure. So we're excited because we just launched last week. Misha, why don't you tell?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
That's so
you.
cool.
Thank you. Misha, why don't you tell the listeners what you get?
Yeah, let's see it. I love I love the packaging, and
Okay,
it's
so you get like, yes, you get this like purple box.
This is for orders that come between now and the end of the year, because the bottles in and of itself, it's $30 a bottle, and a
Okay.
portion of the proceeds go to support Shear Haven's mission and support some of the content creation and whatnot. So all of our special first customers, like very best friends, everyone, so yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Interrupting Misha.
So basically we made these scrunchies with the logo that say Burd. I don't know if you can like
oh, those
see
are
this
so
purple.
cute.
And then yeah, you basically get these, and then are we doing the chocolate?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Maybe there'll be lots of little
You
fun
get the big
surprises.
scrunchie and the little one, and then the shampoo and the conditioner.
And tell them about the scent.
Yeah, I'm dying. Like, this is the hard part where I'm like, we need smell-o-vision, because I'm like, what? I want to.
So good. It smells so good.
Yeah, it smells so good. So basically, they're both vanilla cashmere scented,
Oh.
and we thought that that was a good option because we want it to be a very like comforting and like soothing scent, to just like make everyone who uses it like feel safe and like clean and just smell like vanilla cashmere.
I love it. No, that like you had me at vanilla and then cashmere. That's it. We're done. I'm sold.
Apparently, it's also like Gen Z's favorite scent.
Oh, it is. I have daughters, and I promise you, they're like, that's what they talk about. They'll even like, they're obsessed, like you said, like with products, but those are the two words like that are always in my house about, oh, vanilla, cashmere. I'm like, what does cashmere even smell like? Because sometimes cashmere sort of like, you're like, wait, what? How is that that scent in the bottle? And they open it up. I'm like, ooh, wait.
And it like lathers really well, so it feels like cashmere, like when you're using it in your
Okay.
hair. It smells really, really, really good.
What are the flowers?
Yeah.
Oh, they're like little fall clips we have.
Oh,
We're getting, like,
cute.
all different cute branded merch. The
Okay.
Like, you know those MEJ claw clips? Your
Yeah.
daughters probably,
Yes.
all girls are obsessed with them. We have like some of those that are like bedazzled with Burd, just like fun stuff. I feel like that gains more attraction to like younger eyes like us. I feel like that's important.
And it's sort of
Yes.
like we're welcoming people to our nest, to this bird nest, and being part of this conversation in a fun way that's approachable, that brings people, that bridges this really hard conversation with something that's like usable, fun, and has a really great mission. And whether you have experienced it or not, well, first of all, so many of us have. If we have not individually, personally experienced some sort of abusive relationship, we know somebody that has. 100%. It is an epidemic, and so keep just continuing to empower people with those conversations and preventing and
Destigmatizing the conversation in general, just kind of like, yeah, I feel like just making it, not that it should be something casual, but making it less
taboo.
Yeah.
Well, I say this all the time because like everyone thinks that domestic violence is like a little girl with like her dragging her teddy bear, and she's like in the road and it's raining and she's like outside, and the dad and the wife beat her with like that's what everyone thinks. Like, and there has to be some sort of physical sign on you. And it's like, it only happens in somewhere really dank and, scary. And that's not true. And then
Right.
it's like, when the inspiration comes out in something what you guys are doing, it's like, I believe the message is antiquated. I believe that it's not matching and with what's truly happening in the world, and it is an epidemic.
Yeah.
And if we can go back to, listen, let's talk about it. It's okay. I know it's dangerous. We're going to talk about it, but when we start reaching the younger generation so that they aren't affected, like the three of us, like the older ladies of the room, we grew up in a culture of this Disney culture of this like Prince Charming, and we've been conned by these men, and we've been told,
Or society. in
or
general.
society, like, be quiet, don't say anything,
Right.
be nice, just
Be nice.
like, be nice. You just don't say
Yes.
anything. Just, you can't get up from a date, don't, like, or whatever. All the things that we've been told, and we've been said, like, we're waiting for our prince to come to save us, and whatever. That's like, if you look at every Disney prince, they're like, they've been horrible to these women. They've like, these chicks are turning their whole lives upside down and changing their, like, Ariel's like changing her entire body and losing her voice for this dude.
I don't think we need to we don't need to be saved. We just need to not be hurt.
Yes.
I think another really important thing to notice is like, it's not on us to have to like work so hard to be safe. That's something that always
Thank you.
also frustrates me. It's important for the perpetrators, for, this generation of young people, men, boys, to learn about, toxic masculinity and like where they need to learn better boundaries, or, how to be more thoughtful in their relationship.
It's like the thing that's like, you shouldn't have to teach your daughter like to look out, like look behind her back in a dark street. It's like, teach your sons not to be
abusive.
Yeah. There was something going around on TikTok where it's like the thing that we're teaching that we give our daughters going to college, like we're giving them pepper spray and like whistles and, like all this stuff. And like the guys are like, what are the guys getting? Like, no. Or like, what was she wearing? Why is she dressing like that? What was, no, why don't you teach your son to not sexualize a woman, or like, there's nothing wrong with who she is or how she's dressing. We need to flip the script. And so I love that you have a mission to speaking to the younger, like, voices, because it is a matter of saying, hey, this hasn't been working, and now we're going to change it, and we're going to stand in our power. And by standing in your power is really what you amazing women, young women, are doing, is saying, I see that there's a problem, and I'm not going to be quiet about it, and I'm going to make a change.
In 2026, that one of their next product launches, they were talking about launching a line for boys and men, and really reaching out like to the athletic community. They have a lot of athlete friends on teams and whatnot who are big role models in their communities and in their friend circles, and really trying to activate those young boys and start new conversations around what masculinity really could look like, that's more balanced and safe for women in society. But I think it is such a interesting time that we are living in, that they can communicate with each other and in such a positive way, and inspire new high school and college kids to have a different kind of respect for each other.
Well, and understanding that domestic abuse starts at any age. Again, it's like, it doesn't matter if a toxic relationship is getting so like, or whatever, it's just toxic. And you're like, no, that's not okay. We have to start saying, no, it's not just toxic. It's wrong. It's abuse. I say it's not just bad words. They're abusive.
In language.
Yes.
That's it.
So,
I was the difference maker in my own path, was having someone say, this isn't just bad, this is abuse. And knowing that we're reaching as many men as we are, if we reach 77,000 beauty professionals in Tennessee with this law, that's a lot of people. And think of the amount of barbers we're reaching, who then reach, their kid clients in the chair, the men that they're disrupting conversations with or listening in a different way. And of course, we know men can also be the the victim. They're not just perpetrators.
Yes.
So
for sure.
a lot of men experience it in the home as kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 1 in 7.
1 in 7. I mean, that's the hard part too. It's like when you grow up in an environment like that and it becomes sort of normalized. And as you were saying, like it's desensitizing this. It's like, no, this is not how we talk. This is not how we engage. Somebody can no one ever deserves to be hurt with words or with weapons or with any actions. I mean, we have to stand in a place where we're saying, it's not just basic respect. This is just, no, we're not taking it. We're going to take this power back. So the mission that you guys have, the product that you have, I think is the coolest thing that I've heard in this space. And I love everything that you're doing.
Thank you. We're really excited because the festival season is coming in 2026. We're already planning what that's going to look like. We're looking at activating at Coachella. So if, lots of young people go down to Coachella for those 2 weekends, you can look for Burd Beauty activating down there at Coachella in the desert.
Wait, do you guys have a dry shampoo? Because that's what you might need down in Coachella.
Yeah. Misha and Leah both have like a long list of future product innovations once we get our website and all of our, logistics going on the brand and the cycle operations. But yeah, that is to come. It's coming. As well as like hair oil and like scalp masks and lots of fun things ahead for Burd Beauty. We're so excited to scale it. But at Coachella, we're gonna have this big nest that is, we are welcoming people to the nest, and then a beautiful like branded salon chair and a mirror that we ask people to share what their reflection means to them and what they see about themselves, and really inspiring, powerful messages, because it's not just about abuse, it's also about finding the inner,
healing part of it.
the healing, but yeah, healing, and also like even just, having a strong sense of self before you even get into an abusive if you can fortify your own mental health, your own strength, then you might not, that's one way to prevent some.
I'm really glad you said that, because to like listeners that are listening to this, they're all over the map. We've got some that are just curious about what maybe they're in, or they haven't identified it yet and they're listening. And then there's the baddies also that have gotten out of it, or they're right on their way. And it's like when you really can get to a point, like you just said, Julie, of understanding yourself, like you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself so much that the next time, because we know that unless we do the healing work after abuse, you are going to attract that same person. Most likely. I was 2-time. Like, I'm like, okay, why do they keep coming? And then same person that I ended up having children with was like the same prototype that I was assaulted by in high school. It's like, it's all the things, right? So I'm understanding in my healing journey of like, I really have to love myself so much that I'm like icked by anybody who has a toxic trait, or like the first time that they say something, you're like, no. And that you love yourself so much that you're overflowing, and that you're not attractive to a toxic person who wants to, con you and take over your life because they see that mark, if you will. So I love this idea of just sitting here and saying, you're beautiful, you're worth it, you're amazing. Welcome to the bird's nest, just all on your own with your beautiful hair.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so like make sure to follow us along at Get Burd and at Shear Haven. Can I plug that?
Yes.
We definitely are building that great community both on Instagram, on TikTok, and other platforms. And we also have like the QR code on the back to scan, and it goes to the website, which also links up to Shear Haven. And yeah, like any purchase that happens between now and New Year's for the holidays, we're offering a special gift box. And eventually we do hope that you'll see us on shelves at Sephora, at Ulta, at Target, and other big box retailers as we scale, we hope. So if you're listening, buyers, category managers, please give us a call, reach out, ping us, send your carrier pigeons over.
All the things. Yes. And let me just say, the Shear Haven training is 20 minutes. It's online. It's at shearhaventraining.org. We have downloadable resources for the beauty professional that can be printed and hung in your salon. We have English, Spanish, and Vietnamese are the languages that we offer currently. We hope to expand it to many, many more languages. And it's geared towards beauty professionals, but it really is available. It was important to us that we make sure that anyone that wants this resource, anyone that wants to just learn how to be a better friend, be a better listener around this topic, has a quick, easy training that is a little geared towards beauty professionals, but it's applicable to anyone. It's Domestic Violence 101.
I love it so much. And where can we find you?
I will also send my Instagram link, and you can follow Shear Haven at Shear Haven YWCA on Instagram. And we're on TikTok, and I'm also personally on there. Please do not hesitate to reach out. If you ever want to send me an email through the Shear Haven website, we're a very small but mighty team, so you'll get to us.
I love it. Okay, so I have to ask you guys a question. And so I have a little club, and we are known as, we have this bestie gang, and our bestie gang they're loyal. They all stick together. And so I have this club, and it's the BFF Alliance. And the BFF stands for Bitches Fighting for Freedom. And we are just out there doing awesome things, using our voice, turning our pain into power and purpose. And throughout this network, my goal is that women can connect, rebuild their network, which rebuilds their net worth. And so I would like to invite all of you into this club. If you would just say I. We don't have, there's no dues. Yay. Okay. We have so many new members. We have 4 new members in the Bestie Gang. And so I want to ask very specifically, Misha, if you could put a tool in our Besties toolkit, what would it be?
I think, what can I say? It would be Burd.
Yes, you can.
I would say Burd, and I think like for a couple of reasons. I think one of them is that, like, as you said before, like it's like a tool like in your hands, like it has like the hotline on the back of it. Yeah, if you want to call the hotline, it is 800-799-7233.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think it will just like bring comfort to like anyone who uses it too.
I love that so much. And that is an amazing tool, putting Burd in your toolkit. We're going to link everything in the show notes of, how we're going to continue to have our Bestie Gang follow you along. We're here. I want to help you spread this word, spread this message, because this is so cool. And I'm just loving this younger generation. Like you two are you're trailblazing. This is so cool. Mama should be so proud of the two of you. And really, it is the greatest gift that you can give is your voice, and becoming the voice for the voiceless, and using any opportunity you can to just make somebody feel like they're part of something, a collective, a nest you're doing. So you guys, so cool.
Thank you.
We're going to link everything, like I said, in the show notes. I'd love to have you back so that we can keep spreading your message and collabing and doing some cool things. Definitely Coachella. There's I'm sure a bunch of Bestie Gangs that would love to go down there and
That's right.
sit in that chair.
You get lucky, you got a little bird scrunchie as little part of the nest, the club, bird's nest.
Well, and you birds, you didn't I know it's the apples don't fall far from the tree, but whatever. It's like you have an amazing mother. She is such a baddie. I was drinking Lifeway this morning, and I posted something on Instagram last night because I bought some new thing I've never seen before. It was like the thing in a tub. Farmers.
Yeah, farmer cheese.
Okay. I made that viral. Well, it's not viral now, but it was like old viral like sauce where you would do the feta and the tomatoes or whatever. Do you remember that?
During
Uh,
COVID, they've been so many of them.
Yes. Oh my God. I swear to God, my daughter too. I was like, I'm done. Can we not have this anymore? I made that viral dish last night with the farmer's cheese and it was really good. I loved it. I posted it. I was like,
Well,
oh.
self-care is part of that toolbox. Here, right on cue. This is the farmer cheese.
Yes. See?
My day job when I'm not working on Burd and other movements. Yeah, I lightweight kefir and farmer cheese. But I do think it is important. Self-care is such a big part of it. Is nourishing your body with good, high quality nutrition that like nourishes you inside out and gives you the strength and fuel to go and do all of these things. And yeah, so I really, I really love that I'm able to use some of that skill that I've gained in CPG and building those communities and platforms in a mission, a product with a real mission baked into the DNA, not like, oh, and well, this month we're going to donate, but like, this is part of the mission. It's like so
doing like the real work. I mean, just you're practicing what you're preaching. You're out there, you're making a difference. You're connecting with, and like any woman that's listening, you're connecting with them, but then you're also going and making real change. And that's not easy to do. And like, that's the hard work. And that's really cool. So I love this collaboration with Shear Haven and Burd Beauty. I think it's amazing. And we'll definitely have you back on the show.
Yeah, we can't wait to share updates and successes and all the things that we end up doing in the coming weeks and months and years together.
You guys are just really getting started.
It's cool to like light everyone's torches and like light this next generation up and have them carry on this mission that we are just getting started on.
Yes, I love it. Well, welcome to the club. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bitch is a Bad Word. We'll link everything in the show notes and we'll see you next Tuesday, besties.
Thank you, Lindsay. Happy holidays, everyone.
Story. I am so inspired by these four women. They're lighting torches for the next generation. I read somewhere that I say I read it. I probably watched it on Instagram. Let's be honest. And the quote said, "I'm a first generation cycle breaker. The people before me stayed for the kids, and I left for the kids." And I just love that. I was so inspired by that quote. And when I speak to women that are inspiring younger women, and these teenagers are just doing the damn thing, I just imagine that we can eradicate domestic abuse. Domestic violence is an epidemic in this world. And the more we can talk about it, the more we can use our voice for the besties in the back and just get loud. We are making the difference that needs to be made. It's just an absolute honor to know all four of these women. And I will be following very closely on their journey. Remember, if you are in immediate danger, please use 911, crash on a friend's couch, do whatever you have to do to get safe. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. You can reach out to them on their chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, completely anonymously at thehotline.org. You can also join the Bestie Gang over on Patreon. There are so many baddies that have found a new bestie. They're rebuilding their network, which I believe will rebuild your net worth. Patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. Send me your texties from your exties. You can send them to my phone number, which is either through a voicemail or a text message. And that number is 331-BITCHES. You can send them in our DMs. I read all of our DMs, by the way, on Instagram at Bitch is a Bad Word Pod. And you can find us on TikTok and this entire episode on YouTube at Bitch is a Bad Word. On YouTube, the I in bitch is an exclamation point because they are very sensitive to using bad words. May be hard for some people to find, but that is what we are working with. I love spending time with you. Thank you for sharing your messages with me. I read every single one of them. If this is an episode that inspires you, please share it with a bestie that may need to hear this critical information. Like, share, review on any podcast platform you're listening today. It really does help spread the word on the show. And, well, it just makes my day. I like to know that there's somebody out there somewhere listening, and I've helped you feel safe and seen and loved, because damn it, you deserve all that. And you're amazing. And I love you. The holidays are hard. And I know if you're listening today and you are in the United States of America, it is Thanksgiving week, and holidays can just wind people up, and they become otherwise testy, downright abusive. So if the holidays are triggering for you, I feel you. I've been there. Abusive people love to ruin a good time. So just take care of your heart, take care of your head, take care of your kids and yourself. And know that if you are currently in a relationship that's unsafe, there are resources. Use 911, crash on a friend's couch, do whatever you have to do to get safe. But if this is your first year out and you're feeling amazing, I'm so proud of you. And it's hard, but it gets better. And if you're still in the thick of it and this relationship is toxic and unhealthy, I've got your back. There's no shame in the staying game. Just remember, whatever they're doing, it is not a you problem. It is 1,000,000% of them problem. Be safe, besties. I love you. Send me any messages that you need over the Thanksgiving break. I will be sending you messages. I've had the worst Thanksgivings of my life before. And now this is not that way. So I'm here for you. And we've got your back. Thank you for having ours. Big love to all y'all. And we will see you next Tuesday, besties. Bye. Our editor is Kevin Mackler. Our music was composed by Drew Kevorkian. Our art design was created by Eric Johnson and Kevin Roche. Our Patreon is managed by Kay. And this has been a Caliber Studios production. Bitches being bad.